right, guys, we're going to start this up. If people arrive late, no worries. They can catch up when I upload this to the MSP Corner platform. So I'll take questions at the end. So please jot them down, remember them, or we can address them as they come up because it can just go into other directions as topics as we discuss certain topics. So today's webinar is how to charge 200 plus per user each month. So let's just kick this off, and it's going to give everybody a short summary on the MSP Corner. We see a huge gap in the market today. We only work with IT firms, so we understand all of their struggles, and selling value is something we're going to really highlight in on the platform. We want to teach you guys how to sell value, selling value into a specific industry. Marketing. I want you guys to learn to stop relying on word of mouth. We're going to have frameworks so you can do it yourself, or we will do it for you. Okay. We want to teach you how to attract an audience, how to become the authority online, how to tell what content to produce so Google determines you're the authority. We are the authority. We're the number one organic choice for over 30 keywords, and we've mastered it. We know how to do it, and we want to pass on that knowledge to you guys. Scaling. Scaling and resources go together. So we're going to have knowledge base framework for you guys to do it yourself, right? How to scale a business, or if you need resources to deliver an after hours help desk or a SOC solution, these partners are going to be at your fingertips. Also, there's going to be uh, which which tech stack should you implement? Which RMM tool? Which SIM, EDR, XDR? There's going to be a lot of information. There'll be reviews for each topic, so you guys can determine. Okay, this is getting a lot of stars. Let's read about this. Templates. You guys already know about templates. You need templates for your MSP business. You need a great a managed service agreement to protect you and protect the client, but mostly protect you. You guys are the ones that are delivering. So we want to get those right templates to you. Okay. So lots of information. Stay tuned. So charging $200 per user per month. How do we do this? Well, first we build bundled packages for clients who determine a scope of work to you, right? So first off, I went with the most expensive package, which is the 24/7 help desk. Typically, business hours is $60 per user per month, and I'll build that package for you later in this webinar. But I started off with a 24/7 help desk. This is how much you should be charging for a 24/7 help desk support. And what does that really mean? What does help desk support mean? Well, that means solving and maintaining computers, right? You're going to patch them. When problems occur, you're going to solve them. Anything that's on the computer, you're going to maintain it and provide support for it. VoIP support. If you guys aren't bundling a VoIP package for your clients, you should do it, right? Because you're going to have to provide the client either has 8x8 in place, Ring Central. They can call them if they want, but it's not something that they prefer to do. You guys need to condition your clients so they come to you for everything. So you tack on VoIP support to their service package. Office 365 support is different than an Office 365 license. Clients can sign up for Office 365 Business Premium, E3, E5, whatever, but they need support. Who is going to support their, that application? Exchange Server has left the building with Elvis. So you need to charge that line item has now left. You no longer support a server. Office 365 is taking over. So you need to understand that you need to charge for that support. There's overhead for that. Bundling in products. Okay. Do all clients need products? Well, a lot of them do. If you think about the SaaS products that are out there to operate a business, there's many products that you can bundle into your MSA agreement, such as EDR. You guys need to provide a layer of security. All right. Backup. Backup is more of a tricky topic because are we backing up the computer? Are we backing up email in the cloud? What are we backing up? So I'm just putting some placeholders here for you guys to consider and determine what does the client really need. Security training platform should be on every client's plan because ransomware is such a problem for IT. So you want to position your clients so they're proactive, not reactive to a security breach. So you want them to have their employees trained so they know how to flag a suspicious email. And that's what that security training platform does. Email security, right? Who wants spam? Nobody. So bundle in an email security product such as Barracuda, okay, which also archives email. So that's a must. MFA, if you guys aren't implementing a multi-factor authentication, you're going to have some problems, right? You're going to have some email, you're going to have some security issues. So consider an MFA product. Now, Office 365 licenses, G Suite licenses are something you should bundle in because you guys are managing that relationship. You guys, this is a way for you guys to make money on the back end. So don't charge more than what Office 365 is charging. Match the price and just resell it to your client. File sharing. There are a number of SaaS products out there that offer this type of solution, such as Ignite. You have Box.com. It just depends on who has the ideal solution for your client. All right. What is the best fit for their organization? We're big. We like to get on our soapbox and talk security. SIEM is a must, right? It's a dashboard that is interpreting data from number of resources. SIEM is an ideal platform to keep your clients, secure. Vulnerability scanning, we're implementing on every client that has such as requirements such as HIPAA, NIST, SOC 2, and GDPR. You need to have a vulnerability scanner to ensure there's no gaps on the network. It's scanning every IP address on the network. Log collection, you need a log collector. That's what it does. It's the best one out there is Snare. We implement it, and it's something that is a definite requirement. MDM. So clients don't, they have traveling salespeople, they have phones. So what are you going to do to protect their mobile devices? MDM is the solution. You need to implement an MDM if the client requires it. If they don't have salespeople that travel, then it's not even a topic to discuss. But if they are concerned with, hey, I could potentially lose my computer or potentially lose my phone, or I want to be able to wipe it remotely. So MDM is going to provide that. Server backup. This is a virtual a product by Veeam that we do a snapshot of every server every virtual server. So that is something you should consider with the world moving more and more to the cloud, right? You have virtual environments now. Network support. This is just a standard. I'm going to go with one device. Okay. You have an office, they have one access point, they have a firewall, and they have a server. Okay. Let's just go with these numbers because we're peeling back that onion. We're peeling back all the services, all the products you can offer. So, and this is just an exercise. Backup monitoring and administration. You have to, if you're going to be backing up a server, and confirming it's backed up every day and then resolving any type of issues, it could take 5 minutes a day or it could take an hour. So you need to charge for your time. At least bake it in to the support package. That's a must. Administration of backup is no longer an option. You need to have backup. If you're having a server that's backed up, well, then you need to bake that in there. All right. Let's break this out. Let's go with the 20-person office cost. The science, we're going to go behind the science of how we came up with these numbers. So let's look at each line item here. So the total cost for just tech support services is $1,700 a month. Okay, that's just Office 365, VoIP support, and computer support. Bundling in your products comes to $32.35 a month. You're going to make anywhere between 5 and 8% off of that. So it's not really a big money maker, but it tightens the grip on your clients. Okay, tightens the grip on how much you're supporting, how much you're providing them. The network support is, I think we just came up with one of each. So let's just go with those numbers. What does that come out to? It comes to $263 per user per month. Okay. But let's dive in a little deeper and determine how did we come up with those costs? Why did we come up with those costs? What is it profitable? Is it risky? So for a 20-person office, you're going to come up with all those products, okay? It could come out to $5,260 per month, the subtotal. Every agreement should have a service level agreement. That tells the client part of the value, part of the offering we have, part of when you work with us, we guarantee response times. So you have to attach a cost to response time. We have, if this was a 2-hour response time, it would be half of what they're paying, of what we're displaying right now. But we went with a 20-minute SLA because just for this exercise. Now, what does the monthly cost come to for a 20-person office? For all of those products? Yeah, $6,312. What does that end up being per user? $315 a user per month. Now, this is where we're going to peel back the onion. What is not included? Projects. Okay, no one's going to be able to come back to you and say, "Hey, we need to migrate to the cloud. We have an on-premise server." Well, your MSA is going to protect you. It's going to tell them, look, this is a maintenance and support contract. This is supporting what you have in place. If you want to migrate to the cloud, have a major upgrade, redesign your network, that is different. Those are projects. On-site support, it's up to you guys. I'm talking some other IT firms that are baking in the on-site support. The topics have been this. They're like, okay, it's going to be this much each month, and on-site support is optional. But here's package B, and we'll provide on-site support 8 hours a month. And if you use it, great. If you don't, you lose it. So you make it a little bit less expensive if they want to have that on-site presence each month, or have the option of calling in and having somebody come on site the next day. So, you can get creative. You just have to come up with flexible solutions, and that where the client can feel there's value behind it. Really, remember, everything is about value. All right. How did we determine the fixed cost? This is where the onion lies. Okay. If there are 100 employees, and these are numbers that we're using internally, guys. This is what we've determined because of reporting, multiple discussions with operations, et cetera, et cetera. We determine this is what we need to charge in order to be profitable. Okay. Low maintenance environments produce 20% of the employee. So whatever 20%, so 20% of 100 is 20 tickets. Worst case scenario is 30 tickets each month, but we're going with 20 tickets exercise. So 20 tickets will take 10 to 12 hours a month. Okay, so if one client opens up 20 tickets, you've got 10 to 12 hours of support. All right. 12 hours of senior level help desk costs us $600 a month. Okay. But we're not done, because we have the RMM cost. If we're just delivering, remember, there's no products on this cost here. There's no products. Can we go down to $50 per user a month? Absolutely. But you always go in high. So the client says, hey, can you give me a discount? Absolutely. We'll reduce it down to $50 a user a month. Plenty of, there's a huge cushion here. So what does that come out to? Well, the huge delta, look at the delta. Because my overhead comes to $1,600 a month, we're charging them $6,000 a month. So there's a big delta between what you're charging them and what it actually costs to support them. Okay. So implementing the MSP model is not for the inexperienced individual. You need to deploy an RMM tool. You need to pick the right RMM tool. You need to set up ticketing. There's so many things that go behind it. I mean, and Gregory, my VP of operations, he's going to be giving a webinar on how to, what goes behind all the MSP model, because you want to build low maintenance infrastructures. You want your clients not to have problems. Because when your clients don't have problems, you have happy clients. Okay. So determining fixed costs, that's the easy part. Implementing policies and procedures, that's going to be, the biggest challenge. Deploying an RMM tool, not a challenge. That's easy. They've streamlined it, so easy to deploy. And you guys are technical. I'm sure you know what that's all about. That's pretty much it on how to build a fixed cost model and what you guys should be charging. So really that $60 figure, it could be 50 for you, it could be 40 for you. You just have to look at your overhead. What is it going to cost to support that client? What's it going to cost for the tools, building your packages? And we'll be talking about more of these things on the MSP Corner, and you can join, become a member, you can get free information. We'll be building packages so you can do it yourself, but the premier package will be somebody like myself working side by side with you every week, or Gregory Morowitz, who will work with you side by side every week on implementing the MSP model or MSSP model, right? The Managed Security Service Provider model, because it takes specific framework in order for that to happen. So, but that's it, guys. I'm going to take questions. I'm going to include it in the webinar so others can get an understanding of what we're discussing. But you guys are welcome to shoot over any questions you have.
I'll ask you a question, Fernando. I see a lot of the customers, they want to not just have bundles. They want to pick and choose something out of the bundle, right? They don't maybe need the VoIP support because they've already got VoIP provider. Do you condone modifying the contract to not include those things and to reducing the price, or do you want everyone to just stick to their guns and charge a set fee every month?
That's a personal decision, and I like to be flexible because it provides the client more of like, you view them as a partner, right? We want to provide that partner mentality, like, look, we're here to look out for you. If you want to go in that direction, as long as they're following best practices, they have a support channel in place, that's great. I'm okay with that. Where we do draw a line in the sand is with security. You need to at least have EDR. You need that product baked in. You need backup, because if information suddenly disappears, who are they going to come to? They're going to come to IT. They're going to say, hey, how come this information is not backed up? How come we can't do a restore? Why did this happen? You can always go back to an email and say, hey, we talked about this. We wanted to implement a backup. You don't want to ever go there. You don't want to rub anybody's nose in it. So I'm pretty hard lined when it comes to backup. You need to have backup in place, security and backup. It's like a
So you're
business.
talking, yeah, you're talking about a customer that's not ready yet. What do you do to get a customer ready to take? Some of these customers are just not in a position to take on these plans, right? What do you got to do to get them in a position to take the plan on?
So we set the expectation, right? You got to set the expectation and listen to their challenges. First off is hearing them out. If this is a new client, if this is a prospect and they say, hey, we have challenges with our MSP, and if you really listen to why they're having problems, you can immediately determine if they're going to be a good client or a nightmare client. You don't want nightmare clients. You got to learn to walk away from opportunities that sound great on paper, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a bigger problem because you could be held liable. They're not going to ever be happy. They're not going to follow your guidance. All of you guys need to realize that you guys are the experts. You guys know what's better. When clients start talking about that they know better, it's a bad, bad sign because this is your world. This is why we exist, because we're here to guide customers on making good decisions. Clients that don't want backup, major red flag. Clients that don't want security, yeah, big, big, big. It's just going to create more problems for you. And then clients don't have, then it's not a profitable account. Why do you want to take on an account that's not going to be profitable? Okay, so I was thinking about this morning. Clients or prospects that don't find value in what you have to offer, red flag, because they're not going to listen to what you have to say. You know better. You know what they need. When somebody is overweight and they eat donuts every day and they don't want to listen to their doctor because they're going to have a heart attack because the doctor is telling them, hey, you're going to eventually have a heart attack. You're going to have diabetes. So if you don't eat healthy, you're going to have you're going to have problems in the future. So, the person or the patient has the option to follow the doctor's instructions, and lead a healthy life, or they can say, screw you, I'm going to live my life however I want. And next thing you know, he's having a heart attack. So you got to view it the same way. You guys are the doctors of the network. You got to tell your clients, this is what you need to do. So prospects, same thing. They need to be told what needs to happen. Do they need all the products? No. But the value behind, and this is what I want to point out and emphasize with you guys, the value in MSP is not technology, tech support. The value is in implementing a strategy so your clients don't have problems. You want low maintenance. Who wants to buy a car? Okay, let's use a car as an example. Who wants to buy a car that has problems every day, right? Or do you want to buy a reliable car? Gregory, guest. I think it's Gregory Eid. Go ahead, buddy. You're on mute, so go ask questions. You can interrupt anytime. You can ask questions anytime. What's going on?
Yeah. No, to your last point, I was about to ask about automation. What's your take on that? And how much automation do you think an MSP can implement or is recommended? So there's a lot of maintenance, proactive patching and support. So effectively, your margins are bigger and better, right? So you don't have to deploy trucks, and your technicians don't have to do all of the manual intervention. So to your last point was about the value and about the strategy, so they don't have problems. What's your take on automation?
Oh man, the more the better. But that's Gregory's world, Gregory Morowitz, who is in charge of that. But yeah, they're running scripts. They're doing automation as much as possible because it does cut down on ticket count. It's a big reason, one of the biggest reasons why we build low maintenance infrastructures, because it's proactive. It's not reactive. So, and Gregory, can you touch on that more? You're the technical genius over here, not me. So what do you have to say about that?
As much automation as you can implement, the better, right? If you can even have an AI module answering the phone, I mean, you could cut down on staff. If you have VDIs where you have cloned workspaces where no one has any administrative rights and no one can install incorrect things, or everybody's got the same print driver and everybody's got the same workstation model and all that stuff. Oh yeah, that's the heaven that that you'd be in. But that's not so much anymore because we're all working from home. So, but yeah, as much automation you could do with patching, automatic reboots, virus scanning, vulnerability scanning, build as much automation in. Even self-help can be something that cuts down on ticket count. So yeah, I mean, of course, if you can automate it, I would do it. Barring the customer complaining about it, I would just keep pushing for more automation. But yeah, automation is the key to low ticket count. So yeah, but I mean, if you're in a situation where you need ticket counts to be under control, you wanna streamline, automate, best practice, all that stuff.
So I'm gonna piggyback on that, and I'm sure we're doing. You confirmed this the other day, Gregory, and this is something that should be a general practice. But one of the policies, another CEO I was talking to the other day, they did, because he's part of the operations center, is anytime they do a patch or anytime they update patches, they have an automatic reboot. That's just part of the policy. And they saw a huge amount of tickets not being opened because of that, right? Because they were rebooting right after that patch. Even if if it's Patch Tuesday, there's no patches to update, they still would reboot the computer. It just cuts down on the amount of tickets every month. And that, I think that's a general practice that should be done across the board, because there's little hangups that happen on a computer. Technology can just be very funny. It just behaves in certain ways. So it's where a simple reboot can solve a lot of problems and reduce that ticket count. So Nikhil, you've been quiet. Any questions? Do you have any input? Gregory, you have any more? Just shoot them off.
I'm listening. I've been in the tech world for over a decade. I understand both
Awesome.
MSP and corporate. So I'm looking forward to scaling my agency, scaling my
Awesome.
MSP.
Awesome. I'm so glad you made it today. And Gregory, you've been pretty consistent with coming in every week. So I'm happy to see you every week. And I'm always here to answer any questions. Just email me, and I'm always available. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in future shows. I'm going to work on that MailChimp problem. But any other questions?
I have one, and it's about the complexity of a client's network, the level of complexity. I mean, there is maybe a commercial model that you presented today, and I'm sure that, of course, this is kind of a template. This is where you start from. But even in smaller networks, a network that you mentioned, 20 users or 20 devices, you could have a variety of different devices, right? So these are not standard devices all running, say, Windows 10, for example. So some Mac, some Windows machines, a server, a bunch of other network devices, routers, switches, access points. So how do you price, or do you actually price for complexity, or is it just number of devices? Doesn't that mean you must have also the technical know-how to support these different types of technologies that the clients employ?
That's right. No, everything's done based on endpoints, right? So we don't go in there and determine, okay, you're a very complex infrastructure. No, it is determined by endpoints in place. So if they have 100 servers, we're going to tack on that fixed cost to monitor and secure and maintain and back up servers every as part of the package. But everything has
the caveat to that, Fernando, is that doing a network analysis, doing a gap analysis, going into your customer side and checking it out a little bit prior to quoting out all those plans. Yeah, you can go into a scenario where it is just a nightmare of complexity, and everything is old, out of warranty, out of support. There's no inventory. Horrible things can be going on that you can discover as part of your gap analysis or your network assessment that you might even just say, like, for instance, we've gone to the point where we told people, yeah, your Sun Solaris box is unsupportable because it's just out of everyone's league anymore. No one even knows how to log into it. So we're going to just exclude that from the contract and do it as best possible effort as we can. We're going to try as hard as we can, but it's going to be an hourly rate, right, Fernando? We're not going to bundle in stuff that's super complex, hard, out of our leagues, and then to add on, don't put services in you can't support. If something is out of your league, like firewalls, like a Palo Alto firewall, just say we don't have the power to do that. Or find a group that you can white label support through.
Yeah, I was under the impression. Thanks for that, Gregory. Yeah, I'm always under the impression that the security analysis was done, the analysis or the audit was done, and they've determined, okay, this is a complex infrastructure, and no, it's not going to change the price per endpoint. But Gregory is spot on. We have walked into those type of scenarios, and I call them landmines, right? Because you don't know when that server is going to explode. It's so old. The life cycle has expired many years ago. And if somebody there's no support contracts, no warranties. Yeah, that is a problem child you do not want to consider babysitting, right? Because of the amount of problems, the amount of headaches it's going to create for you, the amount of overhead. Because if you walk in there and say, "Oh yeah, this is a server that will maintain at a fixed cost," the client hears $ savings, right? They're like, "Oh my God, he's gonna do this for this much every month. Oh my God, I'll have him work on it every day. I'll have him reboot it, and I'll have him restore it from the backup, whatever we have, or whatever." Right? They will take advantage of you. But that's the nice thing about the contract that I've given you guys. It protects you from that. It protects you, and it states in there, you will not support hardware that is out of warranty or support, because you don't want to get yourself caught up in this type of scenario, because this is dangerous. It's dangerous. It's not profitable. You guys are not nonprofit organizations, right? You are in business for profit. Don't behave like charities or nonprofits. That's not your business. Your business is to make money, to take care of clients. And because I know, that's just, at least that's what we do. We're not in the business of giving things away. This is knowledge that you have gained over 2-3 decades. It's very valuable. So it's not something you just give away.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Interestingly, as you know, we are new to the MSP space, and we encountered one of our first such clients. We not very big client, and we're excited to go above and beyond, and did an audit and everything, and then their response to the quotation is, I think this is very expensive because most of the work you're going to do is remote and automatic, and you shouldn't be charging so much for it. And it was interesting because our response to them was intellectual property knowledge. In fact, the solution we proposed to implement was designed by our engineers. It wasn't designed by a person fresh out of university or college, or someone with no experience whatsoever. And it's precisely to make sure that your network works very well, your devices work very well, and we don't have to do very much. And there's nothing wrong with that picture that you're just painting, and you've got to pay for it. So it's interesting you mentioned that, but yes, being able to say no, we're not going to take the job, we won't reduce the price because we understand the value we're offering you.
Exactly.
I think it's essential. That's
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
I'm going to tell you something probably Fernando will not support, but I need, sometimes we need clients. We need to make, we have thresholds, we have quotas, we have demands that executives make and all that stuff. And I'll tell you one thing I tell Fernando, I think he ignores it a little bit, but I think it's valuable and we can just chat about it for a second. And that is, if somebody comes to you and they say, I'm hungry for lunch, and you give them a sandwich and soup and a salad and the drink and dessert, they're like, how much? Oh, this looks like a lot. I only really want a salad. And you're kind of like, okay, well, you need all this food to but they're like, but I only want a salad, and I only want to pay for a salad. And you got to go, do I want this customer? And but then you only supply the salad to them. If they go, oh, look, my sandwiches, I need ham, I need all these sandwiches to eat, you got to go, that's going to be this extra fee, and you charge maybe a little bit more of a premium on your quote because you've already landed and now you're expanding. So in some scenarios, I would encourage you to just land, just get like basically what they need. Some people only want the most basic thing, like the salad. They don't realize they want the dessert or need the sandwich until the shit hits the fan. But at least they're going to call you, right? They're not going to go, well, I'm going to go find another provider. They're going to go, these guys provide us with nourishment. I need this sandwich. We're just going to have to pay for it. You can go back and, like I said, like Fernando said, and go say, look, we sent you an email on the 14th that said you needed server support. I probably wouldn't do that. I would just ignore it and say, okay, let's support this server and let's move forward with maybe a plan. They might, or most likely won't do it. They'll just pay one-off fees. It's the mentality of the customer. I know what it is because I am a customer to like a lot of things. So I sometimes encourage Fernando just to get in there, just to, I know he wants to charge $230 per user, but sometimes you can get there, but it takes a little bit of time. Do you disagree with that, Fernando? You might disagree with that.
No, I agree. And I've adopted that approach because you're right. We come across opportunities where they're just like, yeah, you're right. They just need the salad. And that's all they need. And if you're a good listener, you'll understand that that's what you present. They're like, hey, we want a salad. I didn't ask for a sandwich. Stop talking to me about the sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't like sandwiches.
Yeah.
I never want to see a sandwich, right?
That's right.
So you got to be a really good listener to determine, okay, this is a premium salad. You're going to love this salad, and you're not going to ever want another salad from anybody else. So you got to learn to be a good listener, because you're right. That person is going to eventually, you're going to build that trust. You're going to deliver on time. You're going to be reliable. You're going to provide quality salads, right? And they're going to say, you know what? I need a sandwich now. And that's when you go back, and that's that part of that land and expand. right? You're going to start selling them sandwiches now. So yes, you can start with a very trimmed down support contract and then expand, start adding products. But there's, like I said, there is a line in the sand that I do draw. You got to have security and you do have to have backup. We can't,
Yeah.
you got to draw the sand, you got to draw that line in the sand somewhere. You got to have to, and you got to stick to your guns.
Absolutely. The client I was referring to is actually taking the bare minimum. But I totally agree. Our very first client, actually, we offered 4 or 5 different products, and then they said they couldn't afford, and so they went for 2 products. But we know they need the other ones, and it's a question of their ability to pay for it. So we will support them so their business grows, and at some point we know that they will come for the other products. We even detect, we do, like I said, we go above and beyond, and I'm sure you guys do as well. But we detected, for example, that the website was compromised, and they didn't even know about it. It's not part of our agreement. We just monitor that asset for them. It's for us, it's also a way of training the tech team by doing certain things that well, let's put it this way: we're doing it for our benefit when we do not support that for the client. So it's not part of the contract, but we do it. And we send them an email immediately and said, hey, you guys, this is what we noticed, and these are a couple of articles you can read about how to fix this problem. And that, I mean, they appreciate that a lot, and we know that at some point in the future, the business will grow with them. So I totally agree with you guys. It's what they perceive to be of value at this time, and it's a journey of increasing the level of trust that they have in the business, so that at some point they completely trust us with doing everything for them.
Oh yeah, we agree with you.
All
Gentlemen,
right.
thank you so much. This has been very helpful, and I always enjoy these discussions.
Awesome. Thanks, Gregory, for joining us. Yes, thank you so much. Nikhil, thank you. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and hopefully we see you guys in the future.
Indeed. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you.